Start. Right, okay, so it's recording now. So, good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see you all. Hopefully, I've got a harmony part that's going to work against the melody part that I'm now going to play you. So, today's tune is one that Joe asked to do last year, so it's only taken me a year. Sorry, Joe. I can't remember what we did last year, but this is a tune called Julotten, and it's by a Swedish guy called Mats Bollman. And Julotta is a Swedish service that celebrates the time of the birth of Jesus Christ. And Jul means Christmas, and Otter is the time which is slightly before dawn. So hopefully this will work if I get Logic to play ball. So here we go. There we go. So hopefully you've all heard a little bit of two violins playing. There was one thumbs up. Goody good. Right. In which case, let's put that to mute so it doesn't cause any more problems. We'll put that away. Come on. And that's all going well. So that seems to all be recording well. Brilliant. So today we've got the key of G. So we're going to do a quick scale of G just to get ourselves into that zone. So let's do 2 beats on each note. And you're welcome to play in unison, or even better is to play a third behind me or in front if you fancy. And then you'll be hearing a nice chord as you go along. So I'm going to start on G. Here we go. 3, 4. Back down. There we go. Now, before we get any further, I know that some people have problems with Zoom and the fact that when I talk it's fine and when I play the music cuts out. If that does happen, I know it's something deep down inside Windows quite often that will make that happen. It's not actually a Zoom thing, it's a Windows thing, because I was on a work conference thing recently with somebody, and me and Dave Malkin were in the same room, and every time we started to play music it just cut. And eventually the guy found something deep in Windows. So if it is cutting out, then it's a Windows thing. But I, having been a Mac user for 2 decades now, don't know how to find it. But it is a Windows thing, which is frustrating because you'd have thought it wouldn't do it. But it might be that headphones can sort it out. But I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I hope it gets sorted. So we've got our A music of our tune, and we're going to start. It's a Polska, so we're in 3/4, and it's a pretty, it's a slightly wonky one, but we'll think of it as equal for now. So the first beat of the bar, we've got an open D string for us fiddle players. So, and after that we go to a third finger G, and then up to an A and a B, and it's going to be one beat on the D, then a dotted quaver on the G, semiquaver on the A, and then a dotted quaver on the B. So you get 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2 and 2, 3. Now I'm just going to see if I can resize that window slightly. Is it going to let me do that yet? Come on. That's better. Right. So 1, 2, 3. And then after that we get CD as well. So there's a little C, and then D is going to start the first beat of the second bar. So you get 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and one more. Now, I'm not sure. If I went back and looked at the video, I'd probably find I'm doing something fairly consistently. But with a tune like this, I think it's sort of, a lot of it is going to be take it how it comes. But I think I'm doing a little slur in that first bar, so that I start the second bar, that D that we've just got to, that's the first note of the second bar, on a down bow. So I'm going to go, then slur the B to the C together, and then do a D on a down bow. Then you do another D on an up bow, actually. We'll come to that in a second. But before that, we'll just do that D, but a slur before it, B to C. So you get down, separate, slur, B to C, 2, 3, 2, 3. Now, the other thing I notice is the way that I'm stressing the bow on this. So I'm doing a big down bow for the D, and notice that I'm sort of starting there, and I get to about here at the end of my D, and then the middle beat of the bar is not heavy, so it's going to be the lightest part of it. And I'm sticking around here, and then when I get to the B, that's the third beat and the start of the slur up, then I'm using all the bow back to get myself back to where I started. So I'll just demonstrate that. So big down to start, like that, but obviously a bit more joined together. 1, 2, here we go. 2, 3. Now, the next, well, we've got into the second bar, and the second bar is going to be a little bit weird compared to the first one because we've got a bit of syncopation going on. So the D that we've just got to is on beat 1, but it's only the very first half of beat 1. So the second half of beat 1 is another D. So we have a quaver of D, and then another quaver of D, and then another quaver of D. But the second and third Ds are tied together, so it's basically a crotchet across half a beat. So it's going from the half of 1 to the half of 2. So you get, can I count this? It's doubtful. 1 and 2 and 3. That's where we're going. But I think it's probably easier to feel it rather than me explain with complex mathematics that are going to just frighten people, including me. So when we get to the second bar, the rhythm is actually going to be this: 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that on a D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. One more time, and now we don't actually have to change much from that, but it's just the last 3 notes we did. So it's going to be D, D, B, D, G. So 3, 3, and over to a high G on the E string. So you get 2, 3, 2, 3, like that, which by itself seems a little bit weird. But if we put the first bar in front of it, then we get this from the top. 1, 2, 3. Like that. So we'll go a little bit slower than that. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Now I'm just going to put that slur in while I think about it. There we go. Oh yeah, well let me save for now. Right. So okay, right, okay. So with that sorted, the thing to think about now is the beginning of the second bar. That little D at the very start, and then the longer D that's going from the half of 1 to the end of the end of 2 before the and of 2. How much bow are you using on each of those? So I don't know how much of a sort of punch you want on that sort of syncopated second D. It's entirely up to you, but it's worth thinking about. So at various times I will probably change it, but for now I'm probably trying to make it slightly heavier than the first beat of the bar, just because it's fun to do so. So I'll play it like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So it's important to make sure that you sort of keep in your zone of happiness when you're doing this sort of thing. The other thing is, out of interest, just a quick poll visually, who is finding it difficult to accent these notes? Is anyone finding it difficult to accent these notes? Oh, we're all awesome. That's fine. Woohoo! If you are finding it or ever find it difficult to accent the notes, then probably the big thing is that you're playing too loud. So if you just bring the whole volume down, then you'll be able to have audible accents and not be having to work so hard that it's really, really difficult. So I'm going to take a leaf out of my own book there, and I'm going to play it a bit quieter. 1, 2, 3. So when I do that, it's actually much easier because I'm having to put much less effort in, and then there's much less effort to have to expend and energy to have to fight at the end of it because I didn't get rid of it all. So let's do that a few more times. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Yes, good point. Good point, Claudia. I will mention that right now. So I'm putting in a couple of grace notes, and I think they are. So I'm doing, on that B, I'm going A, B, A, B. So the second time I hit the B is the one I actually mean. So I'm probably slightly ahead of the beat on that. So is actually what I'm playing, but I'm speeding it up to B. So it's this little sort of thing that you don't really hear what it is, but it just makes that note feel important. So that's also kind of adding an accent to it, really. So I'll put that in the PDF if it will allow me to. Yeah, okay, we'll put the slur there later on. And then there's another one, which is the same ornament, but going first finger F sharp before the G that you actually play. So you go like that. So you're going second bar like that. So it's F sharp, G, F sharp, the real G. So both in very slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and like that. And then a bit faster. 2, 3. So if you're wanting to use that ornament or any other ornament, I'm afraid to tell you, well, no, I was going to say there's a royalty on it. No, wish there was. Just write out your PRS farmer every time you do a tune. That'd be nice. The best way to practice ornaments, I'm afraid to say, is scales. So you do your ornament on a first finger, and then second finger, and a third finger, and then you move all the way up the instrument, and then you go back down again. And what that means is that when you've done your scale, you've practiced it on every single note on the instrument, and therefore when you come to use it, you think, oh, I'll just drop it in there, and hey presto, it's damn sight easier than it was when you only practiced it on the one string in the one place on the one tune. So if you were to practice that, that would be the thing to do. If only one got time to practice, that would be great, wouldn't it? So that's the first 2 bars. I better add in that other ornament as well. So F sharp G, F sharp G. Oops. There we go. So that's the first bar, I think. Now, new bit. At the very end of the second bar, we've got a little semiquaver that I haven't mentioned yet, which is another G. So the second bar, at the end of the bar, you get a little G, and that's going to go down to an E, which is going to start the third bar. Now, the third bar, when I listen to Mats Wellman playing it, I think he sort of, it's debatable, but he doesn't really dot the middle part of the bar, and it could be that he actually tripletizes. That sounds like a word that doesn't exist, but does now. He might tripletize the first sort of 2 big beats of the bar and have 3 notes in it. So it can either be, this is bar 3, 1, 2 and 3, like that, or 1, and I'm never quite sure which it is. And I have a suspicion that he doesn't mind and likes to do both. So for now, I'll stick with it being sort of, even though we're in 3/4, I'll stick to what I call being square, so just to the beat. So we've got this new bit, which is E for a crotchet, quaver C and B, and then dotted quaver A, which leads us to a little semiquaver being needed at the end of the bar to fill that bar up. But in context, now what we've got is this. In fact, let's go down to there. So that's going to be, and then sort of G to an F sharp at the end of the, well, actually at the start of the 4th bar. So you've got E to start the 3rd bar, and then just a little G and a little F sharp to start the next bar. Now the F sharp is going to be tiny, so don't think about hanging on to it. That bar, the rhythm's flipped so that you get the semiquaver before the dotted quaver at the start of that bar. So that little F sharp at the end is very small. So I'm going to do that a couple more times, and then I'm going to do the 4th bar. 2, 3. 2, 3. And then the 4th bar, which starts on that F sharp I've just finished with, is going to be, so you have a tiny little F sharp going up to a G, then a long A, then a little F sharp, and then a D. So you get 2, 3. And if you put the 2 bars together, you get 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. stretching time a little bit there. Anyway, if I put that all together, then we've got the first half of our A music. So from the top we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I realised that the second half of that bar might well be where I'm playing it kind of across the beat in a way. So you could be playing it or like that. There's a slight difference with how long the F sharp is in the middle. But I think rather than explain it, which I think is getting too cerebral, I think let's just play it and see what feels right. You know, we could go into demi-milli-quavers worth of this and that, and yeah. Did anyone in Sweden do that? I doubt. They'll just be like, that's right, that was wrong. So we'll just do that around a few more times. 1, 2, 3 from the top. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that actually the middle of this fourth bar is going to be just square. Just 2 normal quavers for beat 2 and beat 2.5. So you get like that. I think that feels and looks better on the page. So we'll do it a couple more times around that. But now what we're going to do with this bar is we're going to go, and then we're going to put a tiny little C at the end of the bar, and then we're going to go down to a B like that. So you go 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. One more like that. Now what we've now done is pretty much cover the start of the second half of the A music. So bar 1 of our A music starts with just a D, but bar 5, which is the one we just got to halfway through the A music, is going to start. So it's a slightly different way of doing it. Instead of starting on the D, we're starting on the B, which we've worked down to by putting that C at the end of bar 4. And now we've got down to this B, which we're going to have a dotted quaver. Then you have a little semi-quaver D. Then, reversed to that rhythm, you have a tiny little G and a long A. So 1, 2, 2, and like that. So when you come to play the second A music, or second half of the A music, that's how it's going to start. So from the top you have like that. So that's how it's going to work. Should we just go around that a few times? So let's just play the whole thing. 1, 2, 3. Now, when we get to that bit, I'm doing this now because then we can do two things at once because we're all clever. The last bar, instead of going, is now going to be, so you get a quaver F sharp, semiquaver E and F sharp, and then back to the G for 2 beats, like that. So the last 2 bars are going to be like that. Now notice that I've already started putting in grace notes. So the grace note I put in on that occasion was a little F sharp just before the G. So you go F sharp that's notated and then like that. So you get, so I'm slurring another little F sharp after the F sharp that I'd already played into that G. And it's probably a good idea if we try to end on an up bow, us fiddlers, but it doesn't necessarily matter. Now, as well as doing that, I'm going to do something at the beginning of the bar, because why not? So I'm going to go, so what am I actually doing? I'm kind of doing the F sharp, then I'm doing a G and back to the F sharp, then down to the E that's written, and then up to the F sharp, and then the extra F sharp. So now, if I play all the notes in order, I'm going like that. But the way that I'm going to play it is more like that. So I'll slow that down. So I think I'm doing that all in one bow. Sorry, slower. Like that. Wave at me if that's needing further clarification. Okay, no waving. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to make sure I make a note of how I'm bowing that. Let's do that. Right, okay. So, with that in mind, and how we started the second part of the A music. So that's bar 5. 2, 3. 2 more of these. 1 more time. Now we should have the whole A music. So I'm going to play it from the top. It may be a really good idea not to play the first time round, but just listen as to how it all fits in and then join in as and when you feel. But you're welcome to play the first time round if you like. 1, 2, 3. Now, I realise that's going at a fair old lick, but is that okay? Is anybody sort of thinking, no, burn instrument right now? Okay, goody good. So there are a couple of other bits and bobs that I'm putting in to make it feel appropriate for me. Okay, so third bar, I'm putting in a little ornament on kind of the B, going into the B from the C. So I'm going C, B, but I'm actually going C, B, C, B. And that's done this. That's it. So you go, instead of going, I'm going. So I'm doing that thing on just before the B. Like that. And then the next bar. So what I'm doing is adding in an extra G on that bar. So instead of going, I'm going. And I'm probably going to do that with a fourth finger. Now the reason for that is partly to avoid a string change, because it's a very, I don't know. There's different ways you can do it, and if you want to have that tone, that's great. But if I do it with the fourth finger, then what it means is I can go, and I can do a little bit of double stopping. So I'm just doing an open A above what I'm playing. So what I'm playing normally would be, and now I play with the open A above it, like that. So going from bar 3, like that is how I can get it to sound. So 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Like that. Now the other thing I might do sometimes is a little run into that E, just to sort of give it a little right, okay, thanks Sibelius, that was useful. Right, no, I want to do the thing. Apparently that goes orange. Not allowed to slur up a grace note apparently. So I will go like that, and also when I get that fourth finger at the top, I'm going to use the open E. So from the top you get like that. So it's kind of fast. I wonder if I might trim the second G off the previous bar. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to play the tune round with that. Is there anything else I do? I might put in a few extra G, F sharp, G, F sharp, G, F sharps at the end. I'll put that in as a extra staff there. Is there anything else to bear in mind? Yes, there is one other thing, which is sometimes if I don't do that little run up that I've just talked about with the E on bar 3 or bar 7, what I will do is I will slur into it from the previous G of the previous bar. So, and then the little G at the end of the bar to the E on a up bow or down bow. Like that. So I'm now going to play around the A music with all of that in. Would you like me to briefly just go through it all, or are we all happy? All good, I think. Right, okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, a bit of self-criticism here. What I notice is that when I go to bar 5, it's very easy to do this. So, like that. And it should be. So as you're going across the instrument, you're having to go through 3 different strings in 2 beats. Temptation is that your brain goes, I'm going to be late, better rush that. I'm sure I won't be early, and in fact, you can be hideously early. So in that second half of the A music, make sure that that little G, it gets tone and it gets its place. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be right. And if it's short, then the world will end, pretty much. We're all doomed. So no pressure, but don't rush there, as I did, because that's not a good idea. So that's our A music. There's no second time bar as such to get us to the B music. And the B music, you'll be delighted to know, is much... Well, we've done half of it already. So, hey, not bad, because it's part of the A music. But the bit of the B music we're going to need is going to leap from the G that we've ended the A music with up to a second finger octave above G. So our B music starts on this high G, and it's going to go crotchet of G. Now then we get an E, C and A, so all thirds, and then you go back up to the G that you just started with, so, and down to an F sharp. 1, 2, 3. One more. And now I'm kind of leading you a little bit falsely there, because the F sharp that we've just sort of all played a long one at the end of that bit is very short, so it's got that sort of snap mirrored rhythm there. And the second bar we're going to start with that F sharp, that F sharp's going to be very small, but then you're going to get a very long G and then a very long A, so you go like that. And then, in fact, we might as well just do the rest of the bar. So the second half of the bar, well, second beat, third beat are normal, so long, short, but the first beat is short, long. So we have F sharp G, A, F sharp, D, F sharp. Like that. Now, when I'm playing it like this, it seems like a good idea to keep your first finger down. I don't know if I do that in real life. Hopefully I do, because it's good practice. But from the top, we now have this starting on a G. Two, three. Two, three. Two, three. Okay, what I seem to be doing is I'm sort of doing 2 up bows. I'm not really slurring it, so I'm going to put a dotted slur, which probably is not the right thing to put, but it gives you the right idea. In fact, let's just say dotted for both of them. Let's put that over there, and no, sorry, up bows for both of them. There we go. So we've got, I'm going to do that A on a down bow. So I start with a down on the G, up, up, down, and then the little G at the end of the bar is on an up. The second bar starts with a down bow. And because the second bar has 6 notes in it, an even number, if I start on a down bow, I'll end on an up bow, which means I start the next bar with a down bow, which is all good. So we have 2, 3. And then we have the same first bar pretty much as we did already. But the really nice little twist about this is that it doesn't now do the octave leap. It continues down the scale. So we have 2, 3. So this is bar 3, 2, 3. One more time and so this time it's going to be again, I've kind of led you falsely because that F sharp we've landed on is going to be short. It's the same reverse rhythm and it's going to be. Now, what you'll notice is that that bar I've just played you is exactly the same as bar 4 of the A music, and bars 5, 6, 7 and 8 of the B music and of the A music are identical. So what that means is we've just done the whole of the B music. So we have so that's going to make the whole of the B music. But I realise I'm doing several things to make it a little bit nicer. So what are they? One of the first things is if you're a concertina player, then getting the octave of something is relatively easy. So you don't necessarily have to worry about this. And it can be nice sometimes just to put an octave in to make a note louder or feel louder, even though you're not giving it that note per se more volume, you're just adding more volume out the instrument. But for us fiddlers, sometimes we have to land on a note and it's just awkward. So what I would do is I would say it can be a useful thing to just go from the E string up to the F sharp, or so you just do a little run into that G just so that you know that you're going to be in tune, because the first finger is in place where it always will be, and the second finger goes, yeah, I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. There'd be nothing worse than hitting that first note of the B music really rankly out of tune and managing not to grimace or fall apart. So now I've just done another one, haven't I? So now I'm doing a couple of things there going up to that A. So I'm probably putting in just an extra G. So the original is written, and I'm going. So I'm putting in that extra G before the A. So I've got the A, the G that's written, and then another G like that. So that could be a nice little thing to do. So from the top of the B music you have like that, 1, 2, 3. And then here I'm going to use that ornament again. That's the F sharp, G, F sharp, and the actual note of G that's written. So each bar's got its one ornament so far. Bar 1's got it at the start, bar 2 in the middle, bar 3 at the start. And then we can do the same sort of thing as we did in bar 4 of the A music and add things in for bar 4 of the B music. Oops, hang on. Oh yeah, okay. That's why. Okay, and I might add a little trill onto the F sharp as well. So I'll put that as a thing. Come on, where's trill? Yeah, there. Right, so I could do. So from the start of the B music, you have this. So 1, 2, 3. So hopefully that makes sense. Is there anything there that's irritating anyone about, oh, wait, you're not doing what you said there, or you're doing something extra? Good, you good? Okay, so what I notice is that obviously bars 1 and 3 of the B music are pretty much identical, apart from the last note, which either leaps up to the high G or continues down to the low G. So what I find myself already doing is saying, right, sometimes I'm going to go da ba ba da, and it's all kind of as written, but other times I'm going to go da ba 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 across the beat, which I can't even click properly, but I'm just turning it into a sort of a triplet of crotchets across 2 crotchet beats. So I'll play it square, 2, 3, and tripleted. So I can just sort of stretch it and push it around. And I think I would probably find myself doing both of those. Well, I'll be swapping them around and doing them differently each time, so that I'm never really repeating myself. Obviously, if I'm playing with somebody else who's playing a close and very intricately synchronized harmony part, then that would be super irritating. But hey, I'm an irritating kind of guy at times. But one could always coordinate and make sure you knew what was going on. But I think if you're playing it as a solo, then it can be really nice to just sort of, make sure you're chopping and changing that round and round. So we've actually got our whole tune. So why don't we play that and see if it all is good. So we have 2 A's. Oh, without ornamentation. Right, okay, good plan. Right, okay, so this is without ornamentation once through for you to do all, yeah, let's denoodleify it. Right, 1, 2, I'll try. These things have a mind of their own, 1, 2, 3. B. With ornaments. B. So hopefully some of that's sort of sunk in. Now, other things I realise I'm doing are that same little, if the note is B, then I'll play A, then the B, then the A, then the real B. When I get to starting the bit of the B music that's actually the copy of the second half of the A music, I realise that what I'm doing is a little thing like that. So if I get to the end of the first half of the B music, so I'm putting that in at the bottom just to give it a bit more punch. So now the other thing I'm doing is I'm kind of deliberately getting really quite with it because I think that's a good thing. If you play it all, then that's not so good. Interestingly, what I find is that if you look at most of the male Swedish fiddle players, they are quite it's all very, very sort of precise and and then if you look at the female fiddle players, they're all like, and they've, you know, like it's real, like, yeah, that's very cool. Wish I could play like that. So I would recommend listening to the female fiddle players like Emma Reed and people like that, because they've got something that I think, I don't know if they've had to, you know, put up with a load of chauvinism or anything else, but their playing is, yeah, I'd say it's better. Not sure I'm allowed to say that, but I am, I think. So with that in mind, there's times when you do that, but you've got to obviously prepare for that, because if you just played like that all the time, then it's going to be really shouty. So one of the things I would probably do, thinking about how this works, is that I'll play the first bit of the B music loud, but then the second time I've got that high bit, which is bar 3, which is echoing bar 1, I'm going to play that really quite quiet, so like an echo. And then as I go down the scale, counterintuitive to how I'd normally do things, where you go up the scale, you get louder. As I go down the scale, I'm going to gradually get louder and louder until I get down to that bit at the bottom that starts the final 4 bars. So something like this. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know how much the internet has ruined that in terms of sound, but basically bar 1 big, bar 2 big, bar 3 small, gaining, kind of bar 5 bang, and then as I go back up the scale, I'm losing that energy again. So my sort of peak is at the bottom of the instrument. And then I'm ending quite, actually very small, so that then if I do another B, I can start really big again. And then I can also start a new A music with not that much hassle, but it sounds really big and important. So yeah, as I get to the end of the B musics, I'm probably always kind of fading away, because then it gives me an opportunity to start whichever new section with lots of gusto, but not actually that much effort in comparison. But I'm getting a big difference. So is there anything else to think about? Oh, I know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... so the name of the tune is Julotan, which is by Mats Wallman or Wallman. I'm not sure which, one of the two. But you can hear him playing it. There's like a sort of freeze frame on a video, which kind of wobbles a bit throughout the video of him playing it. I'll put a link of that. And then there's also him playing it with somebody playing a slightly dodgy harmony, which isn't the harmony I'm going to show you. But I don't think it was his best day. I don't know if he had too many somethings, too many glasses of port, or what, or if you've just woken up. But yeah, I'm hoping you can play it better than that, if you can write a tune that nicely. So the harmony part that goes with this tune is generally just down a third. So what I'll do is that'll be on the PDF for you. What I'm tempted to do now is to get you playing a tune, and then I'm going to go on to the harmony part. Ooh, scary. Just don't look back. So I'll start you off with an A music, and then on the second A music I might come in with the harmony part. So here we go. He says, I better shrink this, haven't I, so I can actually see all of it. Oh, that is as shrunk as it's going to go, is it? Great, thanks, Sibelius. Right, here we go. So after three, 1, 2, 3. B. B2. A. B. A. B. B2. There we go. So, absolutely on the hour as well, as far as the recording is. That's pretty good. So, that is Julotten. When it comes to doing the harmony part, it's pretty much everything that we've put onto the melody can be done as well, pretty much in the same places, I think. So there's a couple of things I'm going to add in because I think they'll be more interesting. But generally, things are there. If you were to play this with somebody else as a duo, I mean, generally, I think the sort of the etiquette for it is that whoever has taught the tune to the new person plays the melody, and the teacher plays the harmony part, which is a really nice way of doing it. But I would be, because it's so moving in exactly the same rhythm all the time, there's going to be times when it's actually going to be really fun to go against that and have the person who's doing the harmony part sort of push against the person doing the melody part. So that would be one of the things I'd be looking to do. And that's going to happen especially around bars 3 and bar 7 of the A music and bar 7 of the B music. And probably maybe bars 1 and 3 of the B music as well. I don't know. But I think it's that thing where sometimes it's beautiful to be absolutely in sync, and other times it's really nice if it's kind of this sort of dialogue and interplay between the two, where it's sort of getting out, but in a way that's like, yeah, we meant to do that. That's not just shoddiness on anyone's behalf. Anyway, that's Gelotten. Thank you ever so much for coming along today. Sorry we had a slightly shaky start, and I'm going to go and do something. Send the people at Avid some horrible letter because it's useless. Bloody Sibelius. Every week it's the same story. I should have it, Avid nativity scene. Anyway, thank you so much for coming along. It's lovely to see you all. Have a brilliant Christmas, and I hope to see you in the new year. Have a superb one. In fact, I may see you just before the new year. So very Merry Christmas. Cheers.